to today's video. I'm gonna be really chatty in this video because I have a lot to share with you guys. First thing out of the way, this is the first YouTube video, like sit down, I did vlog, but sit down and talking video that I'm filming with my new haircut. What do you guys think of it? My blow dry is gone. I washed my hair earlier today and I tried to give myself like a soft semi blow dry. I don't want to expose my hair to too much heat. I used my Dyson Airwrap, which I've had a very love-hate relationship with so far, but I guess it's really working for me and my damaged short hair at the moment. I feel like my hair feels and looks much better. Okay, the reason I say that this video is going to be chatty is because I have a lot to share with you. This is the first, it's a Monday morning as I'm filming this. This is the first morning in a very long time that I've woken up and I've sat to shoot early in the morning, first thing. And I'm really feeling rejuvenated. I want to talk about everything with you guys. So as I'm talking, I'm going to keep doing my makeup. For those of you who enjoy my chatty videos, my longer videos, hallelujah, this one's for you. But yeah, I will keep trying to give you names of the products somewhere on the screen or in the info box. I don't want this video, even though I need to do my makeup for like the rest of the things in the day, I don't want to talk about the makeup because I've realized I have a lot more to share with you guys. So here's hoping you guys enjoy this video. Let's just start straight up. Let's dive right into it. Okay, so first thing I want to tell you, and I want to give credit here, is I want to thank Mridul. Mridul has come through as a real friend over the last some time, and I discussed a lot of like content with her and ideas with her. And apart from that, Mridul, I'm talking about the fellow YouTuber who you guys have definitely seen on my channel a couple of times by now. She's much bigger than me on YouTube, so like I'm pretty sure you guys have seen her channel by now, and I love her work. For someone who's like 22, 23, she's so like dedicated. She reminds me so much of myself at 22, 23. I turn 29 day after tomorrow, and I'll probably be 29 by the time this video goes up. But it's just so nice to talk to her because I feel like surrounding yourself with positive people and people who re-inspire you or just inspire you in general is so important. So Mridul and I talk about stuff beyond work as well. She's someone who's grown to become like a really good friend of mine. Her and I both confide in each other with like things about life and things about that both of us might relate with and connect with. And so here's the thing, while in one of these conversations when we were talking about life and we were talking about friendship and we were talking about hardships of living the fast-paced life that we do live, she was like, Aanam, you have so much to share, why don't you do more story time videos? And you know, the thing with me and YouTube is that because I'm still navigating the YouTube waters, and I've talked about this in my videos before also, that I feel like I love my YouTube content, but my views keep going up and down. I don't completely understand the platform the way I understood building traffic on like my website, like my blog, the link of which by the way is down below. I don't get that much time to write blogs, as many as I used to anymore. I love creating video content, and of course I'm really active on Instagram. But that's why whenever like she gives me advice on YouTube, which she's so amazing at, I really do take that advice. And I said, look, the thing is, there are so many different opinions out there on the internet. Some people say do longer videos, some people say do shorter videos. If I do story time videos, it's safe to say that they're going to be really long. So I decided that my self-care Sunday series that is already, you know, something that I was sharing with you, I'm gonna take different topics and different things and talk about things about life that I've learned so far. I'm 29 and I know that my demographics on YouTube say that a lot of you are around my age and quite a few of you are also slightly younger than me. So if at any point of time anything that I've experienced in my life is going to help you with experience in yours, I would be so happy to be able to imbibe absolutely, I won't say wisdom, that sounds like so like preachy, but like if I can help you in any way, even like a tiny little bit, I'm really happy. So I was thinking of what I should share with you guys, because Self-Care Sunday to me is about, it's about spreading positivity, it's about giving you guys a real on life, it's about giving you guys the real BTS on everything in my life and hopefully even lessons I learned from others, right? So I was kind of thinking And I said, I think that one of the things most of us struggle with these days is friendships and relationships. And I end up having this conversation with far too many people, far too often, to not have it with you guys. I feel like when it comes to friendships, so many of us are lucky, but also so many of us are not that lucky to have amazing friends in their lives. I've had the opportunity to make some great friends in my life, but they've come from a lot of trial and error. I'm gonna really deep dive into this. I had this really close friend. She was my first friend and first best friend ever in my life. We met when we were 2 years old. We went to preschool together, and we were in the same school after. And when she was 8 years old, but we were both 7 or 8, her parents got divorced, and she had to move countries. So she moved to Calcutta actually for 1 year before, after which she moved to Los Angeles. This is when we were 7 years old, so I'm talking about 1998. There was no Facebook, no Instagram, social media, and I remember sobbing my heart out for her. I even remember I used to do summer camp every year. I even remember the summer camp after she left, and I remember this so clearly. It was YMCA here in Bandra only in Bombay, and my mom had come on the last day of summer camp where they do like these activities for children to share with their parents, and all of us were asked to write a letter to God at some point in the summer camp before, and a few snippets of some kids' letters were read aloud, and my letter was about how I want my best friend back. And when my mom heard that, dear God, give me my best friend back and blah blah blah, and she's moved away, they didn't say whose letter it was, but when my mom heard it after the event, she asked me, she was like, that was your letter for Ruchika, right? And I was like, yeah, how did you know? This is such an amazing story, and it's so inspiring even for me to think back at it today, because when I was in the 6th standard, I had tried to make a new best friend and tried and failed. I just you have to get that tuning right. You know what I'm talking about if you have like a best friend. So I did this really crazy thing. Spoiler alert, Ruchika is still in my life today. We're 29. Basically what I did when I was in the 6th standard was, I went ahead and wrote an email. This is when emails were like new and stuff, and everybody had like emails that were like really like weird. Like my email, which I still own till date, was like Spexy Princess. So like nobody had like real name email IDs, at that age. But I said, okay, if I'm gonna try to find her and keep in touch with her, I'm gonna write an email to her. So I wrote one line, literally one line in the email. I said, hi Ruchika, this is your best friend Aanam. If this is your email address, write me back. And what I did was, I wrote her name, her last name. I wrote just her name and last name. I put a dot, I put an underscore. I swapped the last name first, and I made like some 12 combinations of her name and her last name with dots and underscores. And at that time there was like the popular email domains, which I think still are, were like Yahoo, Gmail and Hotmail. So I made combinations, and then I literally marked all email addresses on it with all 3 domains on it. So I think I sent that email to like, I don't know how many people, and one of them replied to me saying, this is me. And like, I remember how much I cried. I went to my mom and I was like, I found Ruchika. It was insane. Okay, as someone who was like, how old are you when you're in the 6th grade? You're like what, 11, 12? I was so happy. And we kept in touch. This is when she lived in LA. In 1999, I went to America for the first time. But I went back to America, and then I went to LA, and we went to Disneyland together. And that was such an amazing fun trip. My whole family was there. She lived there with her mom, and she spent like the day with us, and it was a lot of fun. But like, what I'm getting to is that we've all had friendships that have been like there, some that have been lost, some that have just existed and not necessarily become close friends. I was talking to another one of my friends who lives actually in LA the other day on video call, because I've been video calling so much during this lockdown. Like with my friends, I don't even think normal calls exist anymore. I've just been like video calling the hell out of everyone. And I think everyone's enjoying it because everyone's like craving human contact as well. So one of the things I was discussing with this friend of mine was, you know, she's also going through something that I went through a couple of years ago, where like one of her really old friends is like they it seems like they're parting ways. It seems like they're, you know, kind of just growing up as different people, and they've been friends for really long. And I realized that I've gone through this, and she was not really having a tough time, but she was like, you know, I still want her in my life. And I kind of gave her the same advice that I gave to myself when I was in that position. For those of you who don't have a backstory to this, I've had the good fortune of having a lot of really good friends. They may not all be as close, or they may not all be best friends, but I've had a really good circle of friends who, for the most part, has been great to hang out with. But there are very few today at like 28, 29 that I consider to be like truly close or really there. But through my teens and through the years, I've had like this friend of mine who is still a friend of mine, but we used to be like really best friends. Like my really best friends, I mean, we would spend like 18 hours in a day together. She would practically like live in my house through most of college. We've known each other since we were two. This is not Ruchika, but all of us went to the same preschool and all of us went to the same school. And like we went to the same school, we went to the same college, even though we did different degree courses, we went to the same college. A lot of my friends are now her friends, a lot of her friends are my friends, so we're in a lot of common groups. But for whatever differences, over a period of time, it's so normal for people to just grow up to be different people. I think for a very long time, I didn't understand that it was okay for us to grow up to be so different. I think somewhere I'm also like not to blame, but I also need to take responsibility for the fact that we're not the same person. Our upbringings, at the end of the day, we grew up in different homes. And it's okay for someone to not be 100% in alignment with you. There were a few things, of course, that I wish didn't happen. So, like, I'm not covering up for somebody's, not bad behavior, but somebody not behaving in a way that you would hope they don't behave. But I think that what we do as really compassionate people, I think we kind of hope that others reciprocate friendship the same way we do. And it was Jerry actually who made me realize this when I was really heartbroken one of those evenings, and I was crying, and he was like, you know what, like, you may be right at so and so and so, but it's not right for you to expect people to behave the way you would behave in a certain situation. Like, just because I try to be Miss Righteous and I try to do the right thing always, and I don't want to, like, you know, I'll think I'm like a mom. I'm the mom in every friend group I have. I'm everybody's mummy. Just because I behave like the mummy and like to look after people, or if I like to just kind of like make sure I'm doing the right thing, doesn't mean everyone has to be like that. And I think that understanding that, the semblance of that, really, like, it took some time, but once it got to the base of my head, it has stayed there. Also keeping in mind that at some point in 2018, and I've talked about this before, I did start seeking professional help for the anxiety and just for like the various problems I think I was facing on the personal level, emotionally, which was also around the time, coincidentally or maybe not, that I was having all of these problems with this friend of mine. So today today we know we coexist, we have each other. I know she has my back, I know I have her back, but we've gone from being like joined at the hip from like school and college, and some people used to think we were together like a couple because we were always together, like we used to hang out and be together that much, to just being people who coexist in a group. And I think that's okay. I think that for a very long time I thought that that was a deterioration of friendship. Maybe it is. I still don't really have a clear picture on that, but I think what we need to do as people is understand that it's okay for a relationship to move up or down. I keep saying this and I say this all the time. We always say, don't settle for a man unless he understands your value. Don't settle for a man unless he understands your worth. I think that doesn't just apply to like men in our lives. Like, I think it should also apply to friendships and relationships in general. Like, I asked this to this friend of mine, not this friend of mine, another friend of mine. I know I'm not taking names and that's making it ambiguous. So let's say this friend of mine who I was having problems with, let's just call her A, and I was talking to this friend of mine who was in Los Angeles who was also having something similar. Let's just call her B. So B was telling me that, why don't you try to work this out and talk, because you guys have known each other for so long, and B has met A when she was in Bombay and all of that. And I was like, look, if this was a boyfriend, would you ask me to take him back? Because like, we always say, hold your relationships in high regard and, just don't settle and don't compromise. If we say that for relationships, why don't we say that for friendships? Why isn't everyone holding themselves to the equally high regard on both fronts? Because if I want to be valued in a certain way while I'm in a relationship, sorry, I'm struggling to open this as we speak. I also want to be held to a certain level of quality, certain level in general in friendships. Like, I don't want a friend to walk all over me. I don't want a friend to ditch me when I need her the most. I don't want a friend to flake out on me during a phase of my life where I need my best friend the most. So I feel like if you're someone who is struggling with a friend and is really, really, really trying to make it work, ask yourself, would you, like, of course, I'm not saying you should toss men out of your life, etc., or partners out of your life, whatever their gender might be. But I'm saying after a certain point, we all say, where's your self-respect when it comes to relationships? But the same rule should apply with friendships. You should be able to sit back and say, hey, I've tried and this is not working out, and maybe we're not best friends anymore. Maybe we're just friends, and that's okay. That doesn't mean anybody's bad. Nobody becomes a bad person. It just means we've grown up to be slightly different. Apply that same relationship logic to friendship. You know what I mean? I think one of the things that I've really just learned over a period of time is that your friendships are so important. Like, I feel like friends are the family we make for ourselves. And while you don't get to choose family, and some of us have been lucky in that department, a lot of other people struggle with their families. With your friendships, you have the opportunity to truly surround yourself with people that uplift you. And I want to tell you how my friendships have changed from school to college to now. When in 2013, I really wanted to make new friends. So I graduated from college in 2012, and I had all of my friends take up jobs or join their dad's offices, or like just basically have jobs. Most of my friends had jobs of some sort. They still do. So suddenly on Friday nights, when we would usually step out for a dinner or something, I was suddenly in this space where like they'd be like, no, I have plans with office friends, or no, I have this, because office was new as a thing to everyone. We had just graduated, no? Which is understandable. But to me, I felt like, shit, I don't have any office friends because I work by myself. This is 2013. I was still single. I hadn't met Jerry. I didn't have a team that was this big. I literally just had one employee full time at that time. And it was just one of those things where I was like, where does someone like me meet people? You know what I mean? I had friends who are blogger friends. I call them work friends, fairly so. I might need a completely different video on how to tackle work friends and how to deal with work friends and how sometimes things can be awkward. Much like in an office space, it can be like that in the blogger space as well, but I don't want to dive into that into this video because I just feel like that's not what my intention is. I want to share a story over here that you will relate with. But for me, at that time in 2013, I was like, okay, where does someone like me who works independently, like a freelancer does, where does someone like me make friends? So I had a friend recommend that why don't you join some classes? And I had really been meaning to and wanting to join dance classes. I was like, okay, that's a fantastic idea. So I joined dance classes at some point. Actually, I landed up joining these dance classes in 2014. By by then, I had also just started dating Jerry, um, and I had also signed a contract with Channel V to be a VJ for one of their TV shows and travel across country, which was a lot of fun. So suddenly I was making friends, I got to meet Jerry's friends, I was expanding my social circle, and because Jerry and I have an 11-year age gap, I got to meet a lot of people from his life who are older than me, some of whom have become my very good friends today, 6 years later. And I have realized, just in a nutshell, that I get along with people. I've always known this, but like just an extra realization, I get along with people who are older so well. I also get along with people who are like younger, like Mridul, for example, who's 22, 23. But she's also so mature. I get along with people who are older so much more, and that's because everyone always said I was an old soul, and it took me so many years to really get the grasp of what that meant. So what I was coming to was my approach towards friendships and how they've changed over the years. I think when we're in school and college now, like in general, we just tend to make friends with the people that you have access to, like your tuition friend or your classmate or your college friend or someone who's in the same, lectures as you or something like that. As you get older, you realize that you don't necessarily need to become best friends with these people. Or like, yes, you spend time with certain people, but certain people just land up staying hangout friends. Okay, so B actually came up with this terminology that she shared with me, which makes so much sense to me. There are short dosage friends and then there are long dosage friends, right? And that makes so much sense. So people you hang out with every once in a while in a group dynamic are usually your short dosage friends. Like if you're meeting them, you probably meet them in a group setting, or you wouldn't go like on a one-on-one hangout with them. I think that what I've realized is that I've actually learned to finally observe and absorb who falls into what category. It sounds really systematic and analytical when I'm saying it, I know, but I've really gotten into things like observing your own energy. I'm actually reading this book by Vex King, which is Good Lives, Good Vibes, Good Life. I'm sure you've heard of it. And I've been reading it, and I've actually been going really slow because I'm rereading certain chapters. And that book is just making so much sense into my life. Like, I'm taking the effort of observing around who my mood is automatically better. Like, around who my mood is just uplifted because they exist in my surroundings. Like, for example, I do have certain friends in my life who, around which suddenly you will just notice your energy is a little low, like your frequency just drops. And it's normal, it's okay, because not all vibes are meant to be on the same frequency. Like, Vex gives a brilliant example in his book where he's like, being on the same frequency is so important. You might be trying to tune into a certain radio station, but being 1 point off will make you hear a completely different radio station, and it's okay, like it's normal for that to happen. So you need to make sure that the kind of people you're allowing into your life, and when I say allowing into your life, I don't mean you should be like a snob and a snoot. Please don't be that. Please be there for everyone. We need kindness, we need empathy, we need more compassion in this world. But what I mean by allowing into your life is people you're sharing your secrets with, people you're sharing your life with, people who you're talking to maybe on a daily basis, maybe alternate days, maybe twice a week. Doesn't matter. The people who you are really sharing the ongoings of your life with, make sure they're on the same wavelength as you, because you don't want people to judge you. There are enough judging wali aunties in our society. We don't need more of those in our lives. So if you're going to share things with people, make sure it's because they empathize with you, not because you're giving them something to gossip about later. And you know the people who are good for you in your life. You know, at the back of your brain, you know, oh, this person is always giving me honest feedback. Like, I'm the kind of friend that gives tough love. I will be there for you. I will hear you cry. I will be that shoulder you can lean on, cry on. But when you ask me for advice, I will be very, very honest. That's just who I am by nature. And it works for some people and it doesn't work for some people. Like, I will give honest feedback. Like, for example, even when I did my blogging workshop with you guys, like with so many new creators, with 130 I think creators last in like March, no not March, in like April, May, I gave honest feedback for some of the pages that I went through, and I was like, look, this is great, but this is not great, don't do this, because see, even your numbers are dropping. So I feel like even as a friend, it becomes my responsibility, if you ask me for genuine honest feedback on something, to give you the truth. And if that truth is harsh, then it's still my responsibility to deliver it to you with love, but deliver the truth to you nevertheless. You know, one of the other things that is always an ongoing conversation around me with friendships is, and I did not realize this for a very, very long time, is because I'm somewhat of a public figure at this point in my life. How do you know who's becoming friends with you to actually be friends with you versus being friends with you for, you know, whatever underlying intention? I think that this is a very like intuition based answer. Like, for me, I feel like I've always been someone who has followed my gut, who I've always followed my instincts. And I'm going to circle back to saying that you always know at the back of your mind those vibes don't lie. Vibes do not lie. They will tell you who's making you feel good with an underlying intention versus who's doing it, you know, otherwise. Not to say that I've never been wrong. I have for sure been wrong in judging that in the past a couple of times, but I still feel like just truly understanding and listening to your mind is so important. Like my subconscious, it speaks to me in my mother's voice, so I don't ignore it. I can never ignore it. My mom's voice comes to me, my conscience talks to me, my mom's voice, and gives me advice all the time. So my own mind is giving me advice in my mom's voice, and that makes me feel like more that it's right and that I need to listen to it. So listen to what your heart and your mind are coming together and telling you. That's your gut, that's your instinct. Don't ignore your instinct. That's so important for everything in life, including managing your friendships, for sure. Can I just take a moment over here randomly, I know, but to appreciate how good this is feeling for me? Like, holler to Mridul, by the way, if you're still watching Mridul, that this is actually something that I wanted to do, but I never really thought, I just assumed people know this stuff, or that people might not be interested in it coming from me, because you come to me for beauty and you come to me for fashion and you come to me for my vlogs, and I don't want to sound preachy. I never want to sound preachy. But like, please give me honest feedback, honest thoughts in the comments below, telling me whether you enjoy hearing these stories and anecdotes of my life, and if they actually seem helpful. Like Mridul was telling me I should do like another one on like heartbreaks and stuff. Of course I've had heartbreaks. I've had friendships that have been heartbreaking, and I've had literal heartbreaks before also. Like, Jerry's not the first boy I dated, and I feel like I can be slightly awkward talking about it, but if so many of you out there think you want to know or think that it might help you with your relationships, I would be very glad to sit down and talk about it. Hell, I would be open to Jerry and me both sitting and talking about even his heartbreaks before me. Or just sitting and doing, like, so many times I've received relationship based like emails from you guys, and I try to respond to many of them diplomatically, because I don't think I know you enough. Unfortunately, I don't know you enough to give you specific advice like I would give to a friend maybe, because I'm everybody's agony aunt. Like I said, I'm the mummy of all groups. But it's also one of those things where I don't want to be giving you advice that may not fit your life. Like, that's not right, that's not fair. I shouldn't be giving you advice based on half-baked information or limited information, you know what I mean? Like yesterday, when we all heard about Sushant Singh Rajput's very unfortunate suicide, one of the first things that hit my mind was, oh my god, like, I wonder if he had help. I wonder if he had someone in his life he could confide in. I wonder if he ever considered therapy. And obviously we don't know and we'll never know, so these are just thoughts. But we have to not keep that as the filter. We have to be sensitive towards everyone irrespective. We have to be able to give love to people and be kind and accept friendships and give friendships and just do things without ulterior motives. Just be kind to people because they're humans, not because they come from a certain strata of society or because in some way you're hoping to benefit from it. Like, you just have to be nice and kind to everyone. As I'm filming this, I'm like, wow, this feels light and stuff, but like, I hope you guys find this useful. Ultimately, this is something that I'm sharing for you guys. It's something that if you guys receive well, I will do more of. Sometimes we go through so many things without realizing that we're going through them. And as I'm speaking about it today, after so long, obviously, I'm reliving some of this in my mind. I'm happy about most of it because so many of these things have been memories, lessons. They've helped me grow. And I know I sound like a dadima when I'm saying this, and I'm only actually 29, but I've had the opportunity to see my fair share and learn my fair share, and in some cases maybe even more than my fair share, and that's okay. I feel like maybe I was meant to live all those things, to share them with you, to help you absorb things more, or hopefully help you not need to learn those lessons at all. I've realized that I definitely need to be more open about these things as well, because I'm open about so many things. My life is literally out there for you guys to see, through vlogs, through my series of videos that I do with Jerry. But I feel like I've finally come to a place in my head and in my heart where I'm okay with talking about a lot of these things. I will never take names of people because I never want to shame them and I never want to make them feel embarrassed, or just to maintain privacy, just basically also. But I'm so open. I'm feeling more ready, to talk about these things, to talk about my experiences, good and bad. I know that I'm a very emotional person, and I cry at the drop of a hat, which is a huge problem in any case with half of my being able to tell these stories. But that's something for me to work on. For me, like, I cry because it makes me feel better. Like, it doesn't make you weak if you cry a lot. In case you can relate to this, crying a lot does not make you weak. It just makes you more expressive, and actually for me it makes me feel lighter, and I don't feel weak when I cry at all. Okay, so I went ahead and did my lipstick really quickly on the side, and this is what the final look is like. I'm feeling really nice and light talking to you guys. I feel like this was really great for me. I said this earlier, I know, but I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. God, I really hope I'm okay hitting publish on this video, because like, I'm sharing so many things with you guys and I'm feeling ready about it, which is really great. But I'm also really nervous because I feel like this is going to land up being a long video, and that whole understanding the YouTube algorithm of short to long is just such a process for me. I'm still navigating, like I said, but give me your thoughts. If you think any of this will be helpful for your girlfriends, please go ahead and share this video with them. I will keep doing my regular beauty and vlogs and videos with Jerry and stuff like that, but I will definitely make more of an effort to be open and share this kind of stuff with you as well if you find that it's helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video. A reminder to turn those bell notifications on and turn on your notifications of the YouTube app on your phone as well in the settings, because for those of you who say you're not getting the alerts, that's probably why. I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Please be kind, be compassionate, love, take love. Receiving love is as important as giving love, and just be there for one another. I'm there for you. That I can promise. Bye guys.